Hey folks, I'm Tori. Welcome back to Bass Strategy. Today I've got a video about tackle organization and how I organize my tackle on my boat. And this is going to really help you guys who are struggling to find a good organizational system for your tackle on your small boat or kayak. Let me first start off by saying this is my main tackle bag that I bring on the boat. You don't have to get this exact bag, but I am going to recommend that you look for something similar to this that's going to fit a 3700 size box. So this one happens to be an Igloo brand snap-down cooler. It's something that I just got a good deal on and that I found, and it perfectly fits a size 3700 box, tackle box. Because that 3700 size box is essentially the backbone of my organizational system. So this actually came out with me this morning, so all of my stuff is still inside of it, and I'm just going to go ahead and take it out and go through how I organize everything, and you're going to see firsthand how well it works. I'll also stop and say another benefit to this particular bag is it's actually a cooler. So when you're fishing in the summertime and it gets really hot and you're worried about your plastics kind of bleeding or maybe blending colors or getting kind of softer in the heat, this is a cooler. So it protects that from happening. Everything in here does not get hot in the sun. So that's just another benefit to this. A downside to it would be there's not a lot of exterior pockets, but it does have this one in front and I can get away with it. So, alright, let's just dive right in. So like I said, my system revolves around the size 3700 box because everything I have basically comes out of its package and goes into a 3700 size box. And each box is a technique specific box. So I got a couple of rags, just a little scale, and then I start with my 3700 size boxes, and each one is specific to a particular technique. So for example, this is my tube box. I did tube fishing this morning, and inside this box are all of my tubes. This one is a little bit special in that I actually also keep some terminal specifically inside of this box. And the reason I do that is because, well, a couple of reasons. Is one of them is I ran out of room in my terminal box that you're going to see in a minute. But also, that was okay because this terminal that I use for tubes, I'm only going to use for tubes. So why not just keep it all in one box? So what I do like to do is keep them inside their either their plastic zip bag, their baggie, or if they didn't come with one, I'll just get a zip baggie from these came with some bearings that I used to replace in my reel last winter, and then I just put the terminal in there so I don't have to worry about rusting the hooks, because some of these lures do put off moisture. So just keep that in mind if you do this organization with a terminal inside. You do want to have some kind of baggie to keep them protected as well. But here's all my tubes. I keep all of my colors here, and the beauty of this is I'm not digging around in bags of lures looking for the color that I want when I'm looking to make a change. Everything I have is right here, easy to look at, easy to see. So when I'm making a change on the water, I just open it up and I look at everything I have. And I can just easily make that change and grab. And I can also see what's running low. Maybe I'm running low on a particular color, and it's really easy for me to pick that up and put it on my list of lures to restock. Of course, I chose this tube box because I have a whole lot of lures to restock in my creature. We're running toward the end of the summer, and this is my creature box. and we've got a lot of empty compartments in here, so I've got a lot to restock in here. So this fits quite a few of these 3700 size boxes. These are my jig trailers. I also did some jig fishing this morning. I have a whole box just for trailers. I am a huge fan of jig fishing, so that's probably a different video if you're interested. Leave me a comment below and I'll consider doing a whole separate video on jig fishing. And here's my jig box. Actually, what I love about these Plano Custom Divider boxes, when it comes to organizing my jigs, I can separate them however I want, but I can do rows of 4, and the standard box normally only allows for rows of 3. Anything that I want a row of 4, I switch over to a custom divider box. And also the custom divider is a little bit more rigid, so it holds up a little bit better than the standard Plano boxes, and it's really just a couple bucks more. So if I want something a little more durable, even if I'm not going to be using it in a special custom divider way, I will go with a custom divider box because it is just a little bit more rigid. So we're already, you can see we've got 4 full-size 3700 boxes in this bag, and I still have my terminal box. And this usually stays just right at the bottom of this bag, and it's the last box inside here, and this is just hooks. Missing in here is trebles. I have a separate box for trebles that I keep. Also missing in here are my drop shot. I have a whole separate drop shot terminal box because I have different size hooks and weights that I use that I don't want to put in here. But most of my other hooks are in here, and again, I can see when it's time to restock some hooks pretty easily. But if I ever need to change my hooks, I try to keep these arranged in order of size, so I can just look at it real quick and make a change. So this usually stays right at the bottom of this bag. I really only take it out if I just need a little bit extra space and I know I'm not going to need anything that's in there. So then I also utilize my front pocket. I keep just my set of pliers in here, some extra line. I have these little pouches that I have with my license and just some scissors. Side tip, these little Swiss Army knives for less than $20 is pretty much everything you need to ever cut any line that you have. The knife section cuts the braid, and the scissors section cuts other lines really well, so don't go crazy buying or looking for special braid cutting scissors or other cutting tools. This thing is cheap, they last a long time, and it's really everything you need. I also keep another pouch with weights. I have another small box of just all my different weights that I keep in here. And these pouches that I have here just stay in here all the time. The only thing I really swap out of this front pocket here is my line, so my leader line that I swap out of the front pocket. Other than that, everything else just about stays in here. So, like I said, everything that I use comes out of its packaging and mostly into a 3700 size box. There are some techniques that I use that are in a smaller box. This is my lipless box, for example. I wanted to get this out to show you. It's still a custom divider, but it's just a smaller size, and I don't have as many lipless, so I could just get away with a smaller box. And the beauty of this is it takes up less space. So if I want to bring maybe a couple of these smaller boxes, I can fit 2 of them in a row, and then I have that whole other technique with me. When I go out fishing, I believe, for me, the perfect number of rods to bring with me is 3. Any more than that kind of gets cluttered on my boat. and less than that, I feel like I don't have enough to cover all of my situations that I could encounter. So 3 is really the magic number, and most of the time I'm going with 3. So that just requires a little bit of forethought and planning about what you think you're going to be doing when you're out on the water that day, getting to know your bodies of water, and coming up with a good plan of action. So a couple of notes on this system. Some people don't like storing their lures in these boxes because they're worried about hooks rusting. A real easy solution, I never rust hooks, is just don't put wet hooks in your boxes. It's really that easy. So if you used something, if I used a jig and I bring it home with me, I will either leave it on that rod and let it dry out on there, or I will cut it out and just put it on my table in my fishing room and let it dry out there for a few days before I put it back into my box. That way there is no rusting. It was kind of news to me that everybody was worried about rusting hooks. I've never had an issue with rusting hooks, and you just gotta not put wet things inside your boxes. So another thing people are sometimes concerned about is their plastics warping or getting kinks in them because of the way they're stored. I would encourage you to try it, and it might feel uncomfortable at first. It was, I was worried about that at one time, but once you get into this, you notice that it really isn't a problem. Even on some of my jig trailers that are packaged with the individual lures in their own individual spot, I just put them in this box, and I never have an issue with the legs of the trailers getting kinked or ruined. So this is the system that I use, and the real benefit is that everything, each one of your techniques, everything is in its own box. And so when I'm going fishing with creatures, I grab the creature box, put it in my bag, and then whenever I want to use or make a change out on the water, my whole arsenal for that technique is right there. I don't have to worry about bringing and picking out specific things to bring. I don't have to dig through all the little baggies and just to find that maybe I have run out of something that I thought I had but I don't actually have anymore. So guys, let me know what you think of this. If you're interested in this kind of video about organization, it's one of my favorite things to talk about. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Give me that like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And